Here we sit. Everybody. Here we sit. Here we sit. Everybody. Here we sit.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Joe Mambu from Let's Be Real Sportscast. How's it going, people? So this is episode 96, and I'm continuing the coverage of the Last Dance documentary. This episode is called That Little Laker Boy. Now, I just want to touch a little bit on that. It doesn't have so much to do about Kobe Bryant. I mean, Kobe Bryant was a part of it in episode 5, probably for like the first 3 minutes or so. But you know, there's a lot of respect for Kobe in the game. And, you know, his predecessor, obviously, the one where he gets his game from, is Michael Jordan. And this is what this documentary is about. I just want to start off. We go to the 98 All-Star game, obviously, when Kobe's first-time All-Star, the youngest All-Star at the time, at 19 and some years of age and some days or whatever. And, you know, it starts off funny. This episode to me was the funniest because it's just you see the back and forth between Magic, Bird, freaking Jordan. You know, even to the point where like Magic comes into the Eastern Conference locker room, and you know Jordan's just like, "Yo, get out of here." Magic at this time is retired. Bird is the Eastern Conference head coach. And like, you can still see them just jabbing at each other from their playing days. And, you know, Magic says, "Hey man, I used to give both of you guys the business." And, you know, it's kind of true. You know what I mean? Like, listen, it's funny because so much, you know, in today's NBA, you see that camaraderie. You see, how the players love each other and care for one another. And then, you know, you kind of have the old players talking about it wasn't like that back in its day. I would have to disagree with this. With this documentary, it showed that it pretty much showed to me that there was love for back in the day. Maybe, you know, on the court it was different, but off the court it was all love. You know what I'm saying? I mean, remember Jordan and Danny Ainge was playing golf right before freaking Jordan destroyed the Celtics. I mean, well, you can't say really destroyed because he lost that game, but man, he hung 63 on their head. But let me go back to the 98 All-Star. So Jordan talking about this little Laker boy. As we all know who that little Laker boy is Black Mamba Kobe Bryant. And he just talks about how he's going to go after everybody, right? He doesn't let the game come to him. He just goes out there and take it. Even Grant Hill kind of jokes, which was funny to me because it's like, yo, like, do players talk like this like back in the day? Because like now you see players are more susceptible of talking like that about not getting dunked on. But it was even funny when Grant Hill was talking about it. Grant Hill says, "Hey, listen, man, I'm not trying to be be put on a poster." And you know, Grant Hill was basically saying he not jumping with him, which I get because Kobe, when he first came in the league, boy, was he a leaper before knee injuries and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then, you know, the documentary kind of turns to Kobe a little bit. And Kobe talks about his early years in the league and how the league was so much older. You know, a lot of guys weren't coming from high school at that time. A lot of guys were playing multiple years in college before they came to the league. So, you know, Kobe one of the first to come to the league out of high school. He was very young. You know what I mean? He joked about the 2 air balls that he put up and how the league wasn't really looking at him because you had all these veteran guys, man. You know what I mean? You look at that 98 All-Star team, man, it was a plethora of talent, you know what I mean, that the league had at that time. So for this kid to come in and, you know, be 19 and be an All-Star game, I'm like, come on, man, you're going to have to sit on the bench. But, you know, his game travels, man. You know what I mean? You couldn't deny his game. So, you know, he was able to get out there and do his thing and go up against his idol, even though he said he grew up being a Magic fan. But, you know, he admired Jordan from afar, and it pretty much showed in that early stage of the Last Dance documentary. You know, and one of the things people alluded to, one of the things that Kobe alluded to was a lot of the time we like to talk about this one-on-one, right? Like we got to remember basketball is a team sport, right? But we like to talk about this one-on-one stuff, and I get it because I love it. Like, you know, one of my best friends, he used to say, you know, basketball is a team sport, but when it's me and you, we just clear the court because I'm gonna take you to school, and I totally get it. But Kobe talks about the one-on-one, which Kobe is obviously the master of one-on-one, right? Jordan as well. He says, listen, he doesn't really care for the one-on-one, right? When it comes to pertaining to Jordan, that's what it seems like. Because other times I heard Kobe like, hey, man, I'll kill him one-on-one. But basically he praises Michael, and he says, listen, man, without Michael, there ain't no 5 championships for me, man, because he was such a big brother figure. He guided him through his NBA playing years, and, you know, a little bit after his post NBA career. Like Jordan was kind of there for him as a big brother figure to just ask him about the game, ask him about life. You know what I mean? And Jordan kind of embraced that big brother role, and it was dope, right? So a little bit later in the documentary, you know, Jordan talks about his favorite place being Madison Square Garden. Now, I'm listening to Michael Jordan, right? I'm listening to Michael Jordan say about Madison Square Garden being his favorite place to play. And in my head, man, I'm like, man, I wish you would have loved it so much that you actually would have been a permanent resident there at the Garden. Because, man, oh, man, did you beat up on those New York Knicks. Now, in the 93 Eastern Conference Finals, listen, and this is where the current Knicks players or future Knicks players or anybody who's thinking about playing in the New York Knicks uniform, they need to watch this documentary closely, right? I'm not saying you go up there and beat them boys up. And essentially, the New York Knicks in this documentary was kind of painted as the evolution of the Bad Boy Pistons, right? Where they became the main rival in the Eastern Conference to the Chicago Bulls, right? A really tough coach Knicks team by Pat Riley. And by the way, side note, do we see how good Pat Riley looks? Like you know what I mean? That's South Beach weather, man. I'm telling you. I'm looking at the documentary, and I'm looking at players in their playing day. And I'm looking at them, you know, now talking in the interview, and I'm just amazed. And I'm like, man, Phil Jackson and Pat Riley look the best. You know what I mean? Jordan got yellow eyes for some reason, but, you know, I mean, I don't know what that is. Maybe stress. And Jordan talks about that a little bit. So basically in the documentary, you know, he talks, you know, Jordan talked about his love for Madison Square Garden. And so he, you know, that was his first game where he wore the Jordan 1s, and he wore in his last game. But what we all thought at the time was going to be his last game, or speculation that was going to be his last game, right? So then we go to 1984. We're talking about, you know, the start of the Air Jordans, right? Basically, the Jordan 1s. And Jordan agent, David Falk, you know, kind of took this mold of taking this team player, you know, taking this player in a team sport and turning him into an icon, and how, you know, kind of like how he did Arthur Ashe, and he, you know, he had those deals, those sneaker deals, and so he did the same with Jordan. David Falk is the agent of Jordan from the year 84 to 2003. So he basically runs, you know, he basically is like, hey, man, you know, you go to Converse first. Converse got Bird, Magic, Bernard King. It ain't happening. You know, you the young gun in the league. You're amazing. Your talent is amazing right now. But listen, we're not putting you ahead of those guys, right? No, it's not happening. So, you know, Jordan's kind of like, yo, he's been an Adidas guy. You know what I mean? You kind of see him rocking it in North Carolina a little bit, right? Nike's this upstart company. And Jordan really doesn't want to go with this company. Jordan's like, nah, I'm not really for them, man. I kind of want to rock with Adidas. Crazy thing is, and listen, this is why you gotta listen to your moms. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't listen to your moms, you don't get this Air Jordan. You don't get your own sneaker line. Basically, what Nike gave him, right? You know what I'm saying? And the thing is like, basically Jordan mom had the whole world wearing Jordans, even till today. I got a plethora of Jordans in my closet. You know what I'm saying? And listen, you just gotta listen to your moms. Yet again, happy Mother's Day for all the hardworking moms and all the moms that are there doing their due diligence of being good parents and whatnot. But Jordan listened to his mom, and she forced that ass to get on that plane. He got on that plane, and he listened to the pitch of Nike, and he signed a $250,000 deal. So this is the thing, though. I remember like an episode of Oprah. I don't really watch Oprah, but the reason why I'm referencing it is because it kind of has to do with this sneaker deal. Is that when Jordan signed this deal, he was a rookie, right? We obviously know LeBron signed a $90 million deal with Nike before he even touched the NBA court. My thing with that was, I know when Jordan was on Oprah, he talked about people earning sneaker deals before they even do anything on the court, on a professional basketball court. Well, I mean, listen, as a bitter old man, you kind of forget how you got where you got to, right? But someone should mention to Jordan, like, hey, man, you're a rookie, and Converse is paying their top guys $100,000 plus to be an endorser for their product. And here's Nike, like, hey, man, we'll give you $250,000. And you're a rookie, and you haven't proved anything just yet. You haven't won anything. And I didn't like that. But I'm glad to watch it on the documentary, because I know I always see that clip on Oprah where Jordan was on. And he talks about how basically people are earning stuff before they do anything. And Jordan, you kind of started that process to a certain degree, right? So, I just want to let that be known for whatever reason. But then other than that, the great thing about it too was not only that, let's not get on Jordan about that, right? Because you're not going to turn down money, as supposedly though other players wouldn't turn down money for supposedly not proving anything to get a sneaker deal. But the great thing about it was, Spike Lee kind of integrated culture and sports, right? Spike Lee was kind of able to take these Air Jordans, do some commercials, put them in his movies, and make it more just about fashion, right? That's the thing. It's like before Jordans, man, sneakers were really made just to play basketball. And Jordan kind of changed that. Spike Lee and Jordan together kind of changed that. And to me, that was a pretty amazing thing to do. What Spike Lee was able to do to accomplish with Jordan, based off of the just making sneakers into a fashion statement, man. And from ever since then, people just been rocking Jordans, man. Because how can you not, man? They were dope, man. I look at those old Converse sneakers and I'm like, them joints is horrible. Even though Converse now do have some glow in the dark basketball sneakers that I do want to buy, which I may buy for my birthday because they are super fly. So I may get those, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe. There's no basketball going on. They took all the hoops away, but it's all good. I want to turn to the 92 finals just a little bit, man. So this is the crazy thing. Jordan, to me, is so competitive, right? He just finds any reason to basically just fuel himself. Jordan does. And this is what he does in 92 NBA Finals, man. He's going up against the Blazers. Well, I'll say the Bulls going up the Blazers. Nobody's a one-man team. If they do, they lose. But he's going to go against the Blazers, man, and he's playing against, Clyde Drexler, his Trailblazers. And then, Jordan takes a little offense to it that Clyde is being mentioned in the same breath as him. And Clyde was a good player. It was especially that year. I mean, he had a really good year in that 91-92 campaign. And I just want to give you the numbers a little bit on that. And this is the reason why they kind of compared the two together, Jordan and Clyde. So I'll give you Drexler's numbers first. Drexler's numbers were 25 a game, 6.7 assists, 6.6 rebounds a game. He was shooting free throw 79% and averaging 1.8 steals a game. Turn around, Jordan is averaging 30. Okay, he's giving you 5 more points than Drexler, averaging less assists at 6.1. Right, he's averaging less rebounds, 6.4. Not that much off from Drexler's 6.6, but still under, right? And then he's averaging 2.3 steals a game, so 0.5 more than Drexler, and shooting 83% from the free throw. So you can see why that year particularly people were comparing Jordan to Drexler, or Drexler to Jordan, right? Because Drexler was kind of doing his thing. But, man, did Jordan proceed to put the whooping on that boy. But I do want to say, though, what they did kind of omit out of the documentary was that Drexler was kind of injured in that finals, right? They don't really mention that, and I wonder why. Well, I know why, but they don't mention that, Drexler had a knee injury, and in September of that season, well, after the season, during the off season, he had to get some cartilage fragments removed out of his right knee. Now, I know what you're gonna say. During that late in the season, everybody's injured, and you may be right, but knee injuries, specifically around that time, was very devastating. So Drexler was a little banged up, but Jordan still gave him that whooping, and I totally get it, man. Jordan was a beast, man, and he pretty much put the beats on Drexler and them boys to win their second title. Will Bond even said, man, I think that 91-92 team was the best Bulls team of all time. He might be right, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know how you beat 72-10. But, it's all good. Next, I want to kind of touch on episode 6 a little bit, right? Well, no, I want to touch a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. I want to touch a little bit on back to episode 5. We're going to touch back on episode 5. So there's a legendary practice in Monte Carlo, right, that we finally get to see, right? And this practice was kind of like changing of the guard, right? For so long, Magic and Bird was the cream of the crop, the kings of the league, right? And then you have Jordan, who is now, and it's not just coming to his own. He did win a title in 90-91 and 91-92. So now, they're having this practice in Monte Carlo where Magic and Charles Barkley, is killing Jordan's team, right? They're up by 8. You know what I mean? And Jordan, Magic comes up to Jordan. Jordan's like, hey, man, listen, if you don't turn the Air Jordan, listen, y'all guys going to get blown out. And, man, listen, the one thing I realized about Jordan, you don't put a battery on his back because he's able to do that on his own, right? Jordan's able to get himself riled up and do some and take you to the hole. So he just proceeds down the court, trip by trip, to beat Magic and Chuck's practice squad to the point that they're up by 2. Man, Magic is furious, man, talking about how Jordan gets all the calls and how they move the Bulls arena over here to Monte Carlo. And then Jordan just says quickly, like, hey, man, it's the 90s now. And, Magic is like, yo, so what's that supposed to mean? And I think we all knew what that meant. Hey, buddy, this ain't the 80s. This is the change of the guard. It is my time. It's time for you guys to get out of here, right? Bird already knew it. Bird retired. But listen, Magic was retired too. He actually took like a year and a half. He was a year and a half away from the game. But listen, man, it was Jordan's time. Well, to the point where, like, Ahmad Rashad asked a question. And, he was like, with the game on the line, who takes the last shot? And Jordan just looked at him like, me. What kind of question is that? And then Jordan just had that supreme confidence, man. In that documentary also, they talk about how Jerry Krause was, in love with Tony Kukoc, how Tony Kukoc was the next phase of the Bulls. And that's great and all, a 6'10", power forward / small forward who could put the ball on the floor, who could shoot the rock, you know what I'm saying? Do amazing things. Tony Kukoc is kind of a precursor for how the bigs play today, so I totally get it. But, man, did that ever fire up Jordan and Pippen to the point, man? Listen, Jordan was like, listen, Tony Kukoc is for me and Pippen. Because the thing was it was nothing personal towards Tony, right? It was nothing personal towards Tony. What it was more so about was that, this Bulls roster gave Jerry Krause a championship. And while the organization and, the GM make decisions on player personnel, you know what I'm saying? The players still got to go out there and play the game, right? That's their job. That's what they have to do. And Jerry Krause just kind of left it all to the organization, where he was like, wow, the team is great. This organization is one of the greatest organizations, if not the greatest. And I hear you, Jerry Krause, because you're all the way in Yugoslavia, you know what I'm saying, going for this guy in Yugoslavia, and he's on your radar. Listen, that's a great thing, because you know what? GMs are supposed to be in these gyms looking for the best product, looking what can add to a piece to compete for another championship. Because the thing is that when you're competing for a championship, to repeat is hard, right? Because there's mental fatigue. There's not as much desire because you already been at the mountaintop, and you kind of have to push yourself, right? Not only the players, but the organizations did as well, had to as well. And listen, Jerry Krause did a remarkable job when it came to picking players, but at the same time, I think that he slighted his players, right? Because listen, at this time when he was trying to woo Tony Kukoc, he has a contract. He has a contract that he has to kind of deal with Scottie Pippen, right? Like, Pippen needs to get paid, man. But you over here wooing Tony Kukoc and just forgetting about the guys who kind of making you GM of the year, and it's not fair to them, But listen, Jerry Krause thought he was above the players, and at that time, like I said, he did pick Pippen and Horace, right, in '87, right. So Jerry Krause did have an idea of kind of what he was doing, but I think the way he handled it was kind of bad, and I didn't really care for how Jerry Krause tried to alienate his players. So Jordan and Pippen made sure for Tony Kukoc to pay for how Jerry Krause bigged them up, and they surely did, man. That first game, man, they beat him 103-70, and then in the second game, championship game, USA ended up beating them again, but Tony Kukoc played fairly well in that game. USA ended up beating them 117-85. The crazy thing about that was there was a part in the documentary where Jordan was like, man, I'm not showing this Reebok logo. Right, I'm Nike. You know what I'm saying? Just like how I think Kawhi doesn't mess with Gatorade. He knocks it off the table every time because he's a Powerade guy or whatever. Jordan was like, listen, man, this is how we gonna fix this. We're gonna put this American flag across this Reebok logo, and we're gonna accept this. We're gonna accept these medals. Well, he did it, but Jordan wasn't having it. Jordan was all about his money, and that was the thing, man. A little thing in this documentary that there was a statement. The most controversial statement Jordan ever made probably during his playing career was that Republican buy shoes too. And basically, it touched a little bit on the documentary about Harvey Gantt, who was running for Senate out of North Carolina at the time. And the big thing about that was Jordan not endorsing Harvey Gantt against Jesse Helms. And that was a big thing. And Jordan caught a lot of slack for that, where the shine of Jordan kind of washed away a bit. You kind of got to see Jordan as a person who makes fault, because the whole time, Jordan's under this like Mike, everybody wanted to be like Mike guys, this campaign. And the thing is like trying to live up to Mike is hard, because Mike is human. So you have this image, people have this image of Mike, and it's like, it's hard being Michael Jordan. And in episode 6, he touches that a little bit, where, the crazy thing is we kind of ridicule LeBron, right, for dealing how he handles the media, right? But if you look at it, LeBron is under a lot of scrutiny, where Jordan, he may have been under scrutiny, but it was like, listen, you were kind of like, Bird and Magic is there. So, yeah, you're not going to be winning right now. But the moment where it comes out about his gambling, the moment where it comes out about the AC trip, the moment where the Knicks take the Bulls down 2-0, there's all these questions about Jordan. And from that 93 Eastern Conference Finals, when the Bulls actually end up winning, to the 93 Finals against the Phoenix Suns, Jordan breaks his media silence, his 2 weeks media silence. He talks to Ahmad Rashad. He lets him know he doesn't have a gambling problem. He has a competition problem. And he's wearing these sunglasses. And he just looks like a crazy sketch artist, man. But, it was funny. But, that kind of drove Jordan out the league, But, listen, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Let's Be Real. Again, happy Mother's Day. If you got any questions or comments, hit us up on Let's Be Real Talk at gmail.com. You can hit us up on YouTube at Let's Be Real Sportscast. Facebook, make sure to check out the LBRS Sports Blog on Facebook, Twitter as well. Happy Mother's Day, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Episode 7 and 8 is tonight. I will be covering that next Sunday at 6 p.m., so make sure you tune for that. All right, that's another episode in the bag. Peace.